Good afternoon and welcome to the Tuesday, March 29th, 2022 Public Works Committee meeting. Now is time for roll call and determination of quorum.
Evans. Stroman. Here. Roberts.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Armstrong.
Here.
A quorum is present.
Thank you. And now is time for adoption of the agenda. Have a motion by Councilman Jones, a second by Councilman Stroman. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Sorry about that. I got a little cough. So now it's time for general public comment. This is a time for members of the public to discuss or express concerns to the committee on any issue not limited to items on the agenda. Action will not be taken at the meeting on any issue not on the agenda, except by placement on the agenda by unanimous vote of the council members present. I don't see anybody, so I will open and I will close that. I will move to consent items, items 1 through 15. I will open public comment. I don't see any. I will close public comment. And we will move on to see if Mr. Tech has a few things he wants to speak about.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to take an opportunity to introduce Roger Hall. I think most of you may know Roger. He has stepped into the interim role as city engineer, along with his duty as being the construction manager for the engineering division. So he's going to be carrying some load here, and I'll speak to items, all public works items except for items 5, 6, and 7. Roger will jump in, and then I believe Mr. Bigler has one in the queue there too. So I'll go ahead and get started. Item number 2 is a professional service contract for Burr Engineering. This is in conjunction with a DOT project on Omaha Street. This is for construction administration for the utilities portion of it. Most DOT projects that we have are joint projects. If they're replacing pavement and there are utility conflicts or improvements that are necessary, we do those in conjunction with the DOT. Item number 3 and 4 are master plan contract amendments with Black & Veatch. These are no-cost amendments. These are to extend the date out to the end of the year. Both master plans will be completed, I believe, July 1st. And then there will be some follow-up support for modeling and other technical support from Black & Veatch through the end of 2022. Item number 8 is a request for advertisement for bids for replacement of water main on Adams Street. Once again, this is to get out ahead of the DOT's planned replacement for the bridge over I-190 at Anamosa Street. With that being down, we need to get in and replace some water main that's on West Boulevard North in the vicinity of that bridge, and then it extends to Adams Street. So once again, this is partnering a little bit with the DOT to try to get ahead of their efforts so we can reduce the overall impact to the traveling public when that bridge is replaced. Item number 9 actually is the project that we had the public hearing on at the City Council on Monday night for wastewater improvements and security improvements, fencing improvements at a number of our water facilities. So thanks for the questions we received Monday night. That was good to get some feedback and some interest in the project. Item number 10. This is another phase of the City Hall renovation, and that is to address the HVAC units that are, a lot of those are original in the building, and this project will be to get those replaced so we don't have further issues with our HVAC system. Item number 11 and let's see, number 11 is for our street department. It is bid for a new truck. It will replace a worn-out snowplow in our fleet in the future when we get this truck in our inventory. And items 12 and 13 are actually combined. So that's basically the purchase of 2 new solid waste collection trucks. We have to buy the chassis and the bodies separate, so that's through the cooperative agreement that we have, Sourcewell. That's the purchase of those items. And then finally, item 14, a request by Janelle Fink for Justin Kistler, variance to waive the installed sidewalk out on Radar Hill Road. There is no sidewalk anywhere near the vicinity of this property, and all of the road sections in that area are rural road sections, so no curb and gutter, and staff recommends approval of that request. And with that, I'll turn it over to Roger for items 5, 6, and 7.
All right, well, thank you, Dale. 5 and 6 are combined on the 12th Street project. Number 5 is reconciliation of all the work that was completed in 2021. As you guys recall, this was the Main and St. Joe bottleneck we had last year. We took some opportunity there to do some additional paving while we had the road torn up, instead of having to go back later and do it. But instead of having one good panel, one bad panel, one good panel, we just replaced more there to make it a better ride. Item 6 is the same project. We're taking out one segment of street and one alley. We have found some water pressure zone change issues over there, and our engineers are going to take some time to analyze that. And we've taken that out of the project for right now, and it just helps us out there. Item 7, of course, is the final change order for Robbinsdale Phase 6 Parkview reconstruction, decrease of $144,000. A lot of that is to the credit of the contractor and our staff out there doing good project management, being able to control costs and control the time. This does include decreases in some contingency quantities, but it also includes some liquidated damages days. Thank you.
Councilman Evans?
I do have a question for Mr. Tech on number 10. The other day, we had a community development grant meeting in the room over here, the former mayor's office, and everybody was having such a hard time hearing. So I opened my app for sound level metering, and I found that the background noise in that room was 79 decibels. Now, the graphic standard in architecture for a conference room is 55 decibels. That means it was approximately 25 times as much background energy coming into that room, and it's no wonder nobody could hear anything. It's unacceptable. So my question with regards to these air handling units, are we addressing that? Do we have anybody that's actually going to be worried about these kind of features of these things we're replacing? Because I'm telling you, that room is not suitable for conferences. It doesn't meet any kind of standard, so I'm just wondering if we're going to address that background noise issue. Thank you.
If I may. A lot of the noise issues are caused by old, worn-out equipment. As far as speccing for a certain noise level, I don't know that that's part of the project, but I will follow up with Rod Johnson, the project manager, to make sure that, yeah, I agree with you. In that community room, it's almost uninhabitable at times due to the noise that unit makes. And make sure that the consultant that is putting the project together is cognizant of that and doing everything that they can to minimize future noise.
Well, it's critical that the blowers be well balanced, in fact, perfectly balanced, so we don't have any rumbling noises and vibrations and anything. But the reality is, approaching 80 decibels, which is considered, over long-term exposure, dangerous hearing loss territory. And so to be even up in that range is ridiculous. We have got to do something to make sure before we replace anything in there that it comes to some kind of a spec that makes it more suitable for meetings if we're going to use that for such. And also there's some compressors or something that switch on in there that rumble, and I don't even know exactly where that source of noise is, where there is some kind of compressor unit that is in there, but you hear it. It's like having a Coke machine sitting right behind you through the whole meeting and cycling on and off. So these should definitely be addressed before we approve anything that we're going to pay for. So thank you for looking into that.
Thank you. I don't see anyone else that has any questions. Laura, do you have any questions for Mr. Tech?
No, sir. They were clear.
All right, so we'll move on to Mr. Bigler.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Number 15 is, as we're seeking authorization to go out for bid for golf cart lease for our 2 municipal golf courses. This would be a 5-year lease agreement. This is what we've been doing in the past. We have this current year is the last year of the previous contract, so we're trying to get ahead of it and get this lease in place for the replacement carts for the 2023 season.
Thank you. I don't see anyone with any questions. If not, I'll look for a motion on items 1 through 15. Got a motion to approve by Councilman Jones, a second by Councilman Evans. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Go ahead.
I got a call that I didn't even know this was an issue, and I think this is under Mr. Tech's purview. I'll sum it up here. Elderly man, these calls came in from Texas. They're worried about their father. The closure of the road, they're on Signal Drive. So he can't get to the bus stop on 5th and St. Cloud to obtain provisions and medicines, and the alternate route is more than a mile. Is there any way for those people to get down from that retirement center up there down to 5th so they can catch the bus? Is that blocked? I really am not familiar that there's a problem there, but is that a problem?
It sounds to me like they would certainly be eligible for Dial-A-Ride, which would be a pickup and drop-off, so I would urge. I did see an email earlier on that today, and I believe our Transit Division Manager, Megan Gould, had passed that information along to whomever was inquiring, so.
Could there, during this construction phase, because obviously if there's one, there's probably more, is it possible to reroute a bus temporarily for these people?
There can be. We call that a deviation, and that's always an option, but certainly we need to know about any requests or concerns. Certainly Dial-A-Ride, I think, is the most flexible option to anyone that qualifies, and we would urge them to take full advantage of that service.
Okay, well, I'll let them know about that. If you'd be willing to check on perhaps an alternate route temporarily, well, that is a problem. So, because I'm sure there's more than one person that's having that same issue. And then I have another question for Mr. Beegler about the trees on West Chicago. You know, that's a real hornet's nest. And boy, the calls have been coming in from 10 last night to 6 this morning. I was getting them. And as you recall, maybe a year and a half ago, we talked about that tree replacement on there, and I felt we should try and save those trees at any cost, even coming up with a plan to manage them, growth, perhaps the pollarding of the trees, and that is a standard practice all over Europe in those situations. Doesn't seem to be a problem to manage even giant linden trees in Europe. They're doing all the time, and I think we need to explore that, and I think we're going to be having some more communication in the very near future with all these people, because I mean, that's a big issue, because people own that street. That is their drive. Everybody that's out on Nemo Road, they love it because it's beautiful. And we don't have a lot of really beautiful streets in this town. You may have noticed. Some communities do. We do not. So the destruction of perhaps the most attractive, aside from West Boulevard, is not a smart move on our part. I think we need to find a way to salvage them and perhaps come up with a proper tree pruning plan that allows the people to enjoy these aesthetic assets that we do have. So we'll be in contact over that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Now if I can get a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn, and a second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, we're adjourned.
You are the last party